What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike Labelle, and today, my friends, we're talking overrated icons. It's gonna be controversial. Many of you might not like this video that much, could ruffle some feathers, but I feel that it's important which icons you don't want to see, at least not in your own personal starting 11. If you want more content like this, high-rated discussion, drop a thumbs up. It's simple, it's free, it's easy to do. Support the content. And in the comments, I already know that you're going to have an opinion. That's fine. Just don't bring real world bias from what these guys accomplished on the actual pitch into the virtual pitch and that discussion board. Criteria. You know me, get your notepad out, write this down. Number 1, must be an icon. Number 2, must be an icon we actually see used. This countdown's not gonna include Puyo because people don't use Puyo. If you want me to make a video about icons that are unusable or bad icons, we can do that. But it's not this video. We're talking overrated, which means we actually have to rate them. Number 3, this is from a collective viewpoint of the icon foot items. I'm not taking just the baby version and saying, ooh, he's not good to go, don't use him. I'm looking at the overall consensus, the collective of the icon. Are we on the same page? Did you get those notes? The majority of the icon is overrated. The majority of the foot item of this icon is overrated. Icon overrated. Overrated icon. Boom. Hierro. Spanish legend just seems like the place that we should get things underway, get things started with. Get them brewing. Any variation of Hierro is average, maybe slightly above average. I know people are on the upsell. I get it. It's as if the guy's trying to sell you an apartment. It's 500 square feet. He's saying it's 1,000 with outdoor space. That's just not the case. It's not option 2. Get yourself an average apartment, New York standards. He's like a professor, but without the expertise in the subject he's teaching. He might still know a thing. It's not as if he didn't do some research, but it's not his mastery. I'm not sure if that's a good analogy, but to me, this is not someone that I want leading my back line, whether it was earlier in FIFA, the middle stage of FIFA, or late into the game. Sol Campbell. And if you've watched me live stream, you heard this discussion, you are well aware that I am not a fan. He's just so damn stiff. This man can't move his neck to the right or the left. He's not turning. Just straight line only. He needs a chiropractor. ASAP. ASAP. 54 agility, 55 balance on his best version. Prime. What can you expect from that? You're gonna concede penalty kicks? He's rough around the edges. Just think, a car is going over this hill. You got some downward momentum and the brakes don't work properly. That's Sol Campbell. He's not a top 50 center back. Might not be a top 100 in FIFA 20, especially not with all the new iterations and new additions and new releases. In fact, it's pretty easy to make a case that he's not in the top 100. Don't hate the messenger. This is a soft pass, a hard pass, an in-between pass, all of the passes. Throw it that way. He would be a rock type Pokemon, no agility, moving in slow-mo. I don't want it. He's got no finesse in his gameplay. Robert Pires, 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, French, winger. I'm looking at the stats. You say this should work out. He could be usable, and you ask yourself every single year, and we don't see a positive track record here. He's consistently average to above average. He's not your best winger. He's not your best attacking midfielder. He's not your best striker. We call him a bit of an in-betweener. He's got good size, but then if you don't have the matching agility or the balance, you don't really get the benefits of the size, even in a title that maybe deals with more of that physical element, which is not FIFA 20. How many crosses do you score per weekend league? Put that down below in the comments. He's solely a link-up player, whether it's the weekend league or even a draft. When I've drafted Robert Pires, I'm subbing him out immediately or at least by halftime. I've always had better options on the bench. And I'm not trying to be harsh here. I'm just calling it how I see it. Am I wrong? Back to discrediting center backs. Nesta, 40 agility, 54 balance. That's going to be a common theme, a common trend, and many of you have let your fandom interfere with what's right. And what's right is right. Long hair, and I definitely care. I'm actually surprised how many players try to make him work. They try to slide Nesta into the starting 11. They tell me in the comments of videos, on Twitter, on social media, via the live streams, why don't you just use Nesta? And I think to myself, have you actually used them? The first time that you get burnt and there's no recovery? Your ankles are broken? You're laying on the ground? You weren't able to stay in front of the man? In a game where defense is so strong, especially AI defending, the assistance levels, Nesta can't be there. Don't allow your fandom for Nesta, and I'm part of this crew, to interfere with seeing things cleanly. This is when you got your glasses off, you need to put them back on and say, hold on, let me reassess. Just give me a moment. Drogba, one of the all-time greats. We're looking at Premier League strikers, influence of the game. I've got so many of his plays ingrained up top. Big game player. But in FIFA 20, can you use them? Sure, you can use them, but that's not what this countdown's about. You want to be excited, especially when you're making a big investment. At this point of FIFA, he's significantly dropped off in price, which is no coincidence. In fact, that should tell you something. But early on, FIFA 20, through the roof, expensive, major investment, was gonna hurt your pockets, was gonna hurt your bottom line. As the importance of turning and unlocking space in the midfield has gone up, defeating the bus drivers and needing to open up lanes in order to get shots off for 1-2s, small intricate details, quick play. Drogba's value has deteriorated. Drogba doesn't beat drop back, and until EA shifts the title where physical presence, especially on the attacking side of the pitch or crossing or being able to hold up the play, is a staple, Drogba's gonna struggle. Even with the skill moves, still gonna struggle. Need some helpers from the gameplay team. Stoichkov. Krasi from Bulgaria is not gonna agree with me. Gonna have a little bit of a light bias. 3-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, decent size. I've never felt that his pace on any of his foot item variations has really held up, especially versus elite talent or elite competition. And that's the easy summary for Stoichkov. I've also never seen eye to eye with his positioning. Those small pockets of space or those attacking instincts haven't really been there. And I find myself complaining more about not being able to shoot with both feet more frequently than not, especially when I'm playing better opponents, because he's not agile enough. He doesn't have 5-star skills. We're still dealing with 4-star skills. It doesn't compensate for the loss of only having 1 foot or having to create with that 1 foot if you really want to score goals with levels of consistency. Baggio hurts my heart. I'm a skiller, and those combinations, oh, the silky smooth, shake and bake, almost caressing around the opposition. And Baggio, I wanted him to have that fully, where you have that grasp of control. You're able to bring together the plays, but it does not mesh properly in FIFA 20. It's a mix of his stamina, definitely an issue, especially as the game goes on, and he's not nearly as fast as you might think when you look at the allocation of statistics. I put him into motion multiple times this year, multiple variations, and none of them have been able to perform at the level that I thought was necessary to really put him into the category of being a contender. His skill moves don't overcome the mix of connection, getting tired, and just not having that it factor. Between the pace, the shooting, the passing, dribbling, skill moves, you start to say, what if? I'm looking at the foot iron right here, but that's where the combo should end. Just cut it off. Figo, straight up or straight down. I can't really put a finger on why Figo is not a standout performer. He should be. We can pull up his foot item, we can analyze the statistics, but he doesn't have the flow. It's like a good-looking guy on the dance floor with no rhythm. He has all the tools, but he's missing that key ingredient. No hip movement. He even has the high-low work rates. This man should walk through defenses, and he doesn't. There's no red carpet with Figo, sadly. Garincha. Controversial, getting into the nitty gritty, expensive pickup, and he kind of falls into this specialist category, and I struggle to have multiple specialists or technicians in one squad. So you got to make a choice. Who do you want to have in your starting 11? And similar to Figo or a couple others in this countdown, that's why it's controversial, I can pull up his stat line. We can look at everything that's green, but if it doesn't feel like that in game, or if you think those stats have been reduced a little bit, or if the physical side is starting to become a liability, he doesn't naturally find a way to get touches onto the ball or how to incorporate himself, he goes missing, he's lost on the virtual pitch, that's an issue. It's more than a concern. And my expectations are pretty serious. At this price point, this rating, this role, that true number 10, I'm gonna say it against the grain, but he's a bit of a fraud. Something just doesn't align. And if I only get one guy in my starting 11, it's not gonna be Garincha. I see people use him, but I don't think they swear by him. Diego Maradona. We should be talking about this man being a top 10 player in the game. He's in my top 5 of all time in real life. Maradona, R9, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Pele. Not necessarily listed in any sort of order, but that does not translate to FIFA success. And it does come down to that 3-star weak foot. EA has not figured out how to make this magician or how to replicate the magic in game for Maradona. Maybe you need some helpers, if you get my drift. But I'm not here to make a bunch of puns or funny references, even though this man's been so outspoken over the years. It would be easy to do. He shouldn't be on the overrated countdown or my rankings is the point that I'm making. I don't want to put him here, but what other countdown does he get on? There's no way that you can tell me at home you're going to spend millions of coins and then be proud of this pickup, that he performed or gave you the output that matched the investment. That's the definition of being overrated. Some of you may question the importance of a weak foot. Well, let me stop you there. I polled the people. It was like 85% of you said 5-star weak foot over 5-star skill moves. And at the end of the day, the people are always right. The community is always right. And I agree. You need to have both feet. And the majority of skills that have high success rates aren't 5-star skill moves. Maybe some running scoop turn. But how many of you are actually using fake Verbonas? Thankfully, much less El Tornadoes this year. Or Waka Wakas. A lot of you don't have this in your locker, nor is it effective. But being able to shoot with both feet, pass with both feet, not be predictable, be dynamic on the attack, especially as your center attacking mid in a specialist role. This is your ultimate creator. I need him to be creative. And unless EA upgrades Diego Maradona's weak foot, I kind of feel as if we could have this conversation again in the future. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop some love, pass it around the community. It's free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I am looking forward to all those comments. This is going to stir up some discussion. We're cooking, but I'm looking forward to all the back and forth, and I have a lot more content coming for you ASAP.